Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today we have learned a little bit more about Battlefield 4. There was an article released, and a DICE employee had a recent interview basically confirming a bunch of stuff that we didn't know before. And the thing that I'm most excited about is that it looks like they have finally confirmed dynamic weather in the upcoming game. They say that the Frostbite 3 engine has the capabilities of changing weather conditions that will affect visibility, and while they haven't gone into exact details on what this will mean, I'm assuming they're gonna have it so that maybe on different matches you can play on Siege of Shanghai in the middle of a rainstorm, or maybe fog will roll on in. They haven't said if it's going to be dynamic within the map itself, so it will start off sunny and then maybe a gigantic storm will roll on through by the end of the match. But just the fact that they do have the capabilities to do something like this is really refreshing, and I cannot wait to see where it leads. They also briefly mention how weather is going to have a pretty dramatic effect on naval combat, and if there is a raging storm going on, it's going to affect the environment around you. So if you are out on the ocean and there is a storm, the waves are going to be a lot larger than if it was just a nice blue, sunny, calm day. It's actually going to affect how you play the game. You can use those large waves to your advantage. You can kind of dip in and out, take shots at people as you come out of the trough of a gigantic wave. It's really cool in concept. And I know we kind of touched upon that at an earlier date, but it seems like the weather itself is actually going to control the waves and how everything plays out, which is really, really cool. We also learned some news that's kind of sad. Well, I guess not really sad, but more just disappointing, is that there won't be night cycles in Battlefield 4. A DICE employee basically said that they gave it a try, but it just wasn't working how they wanted to be. The visibility was a little bit too low, which is kind of ironic because that's kind of what people were hoping for, is that you could have really low visibility maps, you know, nighttime, and then you could use gadgets like the flashlight or the infrared night vision scope to really switch up the gameplay. But apparently DICE has concluded that they are not going to have that feature in Battlefield 4, but what's kind of interesting is that they hint at the capabilities of maybe just having day cycles, and so while that's not everything that we kind of wanted, we wanted both night and day, maybe we can play on Siege of Shanghai in the afternoon or in the morning. And while this won't switch up the gameplay completely, it will be nice to play on those maps in, you know, a different atmosphere. It will switch things up a bit, and then you can also throw in the different weather as well, and it will keep those maps fresher for longer. One thing that has me a little concerned though is that when they start to talk about field upgrades, they mention a specialization called upgraded personal armor. And this could be exactly like it is in Battlefield 3, where you're just more resilient to explosive damage. But where I'm a little worried is that they do mention that there is going to be new specializations, which is great. But if this is one of them, and it's what I'm assuming it is, where you essentially can take more damage from bullets, I'm not exactly sold on that idea, because if you go against someone who just has upgraded armor and it takes, let's say, one extra bullet to take them out, and you don't have that specialization unlocked, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. And that specialization, in my opinion, is a lot more powerful than something like not being suppressed as much, or having a little bit more ammunition. And so I have a feeling if they have that implemented in there, everyone is going to want to gravitate on over to upgraded personal armor because they feel like it's a requirement for them to do well. But this is all speculation at this point. I could be completely wrong, and I kind of hope that I am. But it's something that I'm definitely going to keep my eye on. Now, for all you PC players out there, it looks like we're going to have the capabilities of customizing our UI and our HUD. So if you want to maybe make your minimap a little bit larger, maybe you want to shrink it down, put it on the left-hand side of the screen instead of the right, maybe you want to have your ammo count directly above your soldier's head, it looks like we're going to have the capabilities to do this. I know this has been a pretty large request for the PC community, since this is kind of standard in a lot of games out there, so it's nice that they are adding this. I kind of wasn't really expecting this, but it's kind of just a nice addition that I know a lot of people will appreciate. But also along the same lines of customization, it looks like we are going to have the capabilities of changing which factions start on a match. So if you want to have China versus Russia, you can do so. Or if you want to switch those deployments and have it so that Russia is versus the United States, you can do that as well. It's not going to change things dramatically by any means. Really, the only difference is probably going to be what vehicles are on those maps, which will have a slight difference. You guys know that the Viper and the Havoc handle a little bit differently in Battlefield 3, so those differences will probably be there. But essentially what this will do was just once again keep maps fresher. There will just be more variety and things won't be exactly the same like they kind of are in pretty much every other first-person shooter out there. So to kind of wrap things up for today, the last bit of news is that apparently DICE has done something with their system, with their infrastructure, to make it easier for them to implement more weapons and vehicles. They haven't gone into any details on how many weapons or vehicles is going to be in Battlefield 4, but they're saying that the infrastructure that they now have in place is going to make it a lot easier for them to implement more. So maybe for future DLCs, kind of what they had for Battlefield 3, they will continue to pump out more weapons. I'm not exactly sure if that is the case. I'm not a game developer by any means, but I'm sure a lot of you guys out there will just be thrilled by this news. But that is about it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this news. I know it got me pretty excited, especially when we learned about the dynamic weather system. I cannot wait to hear more about that. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.